praise and exaltation. We are Hope 103.1 FM.
Lift your hands and fill the room in worship. Lift it up to the King. The Holy One is here. Come on, say this. Yeah, yeah, hallelujah. Fragrance of His presence permeates the atmosphere. Woo. In this place, we find a rest. In this place, we give a yes. Here in your presence. Father, we bring your presence. And there's no place we'd rather be than to behold your majesty. Here in your presence. Yes, Lord, we in your presence. Right here. Jesus, you be glorified. Your song. We we sing. Yes, Lord. We sing home. Right up. All the things that I've been through. Everything. Didn't know I would make it through your grace. Your grace pulled me through, Jesus. Because of your grace. All the sleepless nights. All the sleepless nights and the tears from my eyes. Yes, Lord. The struggles and the obstacles I face all the time. Your grace. Your grace, Jesus. Because of your grace. Right up. I was lost and was broken. It's like I was in bondage. So many tears I cried. The Lord has kept open. I'm so glad that you are chosen. Purpose in my life. You have purpose.
She has purpose. He has purpose.
A wonderful good night to all the listeners of Hope 103.1 FM.
Right up.
You have purpose.
It is the 18th day of March 2022.
Everybody is we are
It's Friday night, of course, guys. It's another Youth Energy Friday. It's the third Friday. Or the third Friday, the third week in the month. Yeah. I have to get that right, you know. And guys, you know, every third Friday of the month, yeah, that song right, guys? Third Friday of the month, the Wilkinson comes in with the crucial and critical conversation. And the last time we had a conversation, it was rather interesting. So we want to continue with it tonight. Tonight, my wife, Lady Sabi, is going to be with the youths at church, so she's not going to be here with me tonight, see? You know why? That's why you see I kind of cold so tonight with the start. More, you know, warm 10 days, so that doesn't really feel too right, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I do the best. I have the spirit of God in me and, you know, angels by my side. So what do I need again? Just a wife. Let me say blessed good night to my cousin Cheryl. I see you locked on. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, the whole family, Sabazan family. Blessings and good night to you all. I want to say good night to all the bishops, all the persons locked on in Marian, Monjulu, those of you guys online.
Because of your grace.
We're giving God thanks and praise for His grace tonight, yeah? You're alive only because of His grace, because of His mercies. I'm your host, Selector Sabi, the Gospel Servant.
Because of the grace of Jesus Christ.
In a little bit, we just waiting a bit because I got some folks passing through to tell you guys about an event happening very soon down at Kuyaba Beach Resort, alright? So we're just chilling on the inside, enjoy some mellow vibes because, you know, we got a very sobering conversation coming up very soon. And I see my good friend Sylvina just touching base. I want to say blessed good night to you, just the same. Yeah.
You came and you rescued me from every situation.
And now,
Now I am free.
because of your grace.
Your grace and mercy, Lord, it makes all the difference.
Every difference.
You are holy.
Yes, Jesus.
All the things that I've been through.
right, so bless good night again to all the listeners of Hope 103.1 FM. As I mentioned earlier on, guys, we have some, beautiful people in studios with us tonight. But just before I tell you who they are, I want to play a quick clip right here, just giving you some information. And we'll get right back to our discussion with them. All right, so keep it locked. I want to say good night to all our usual listeners. And if you're new here, God bless you and welcome. All right.
Another like our God, our God. I lift my voice.
Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference is hosted by the dynamic duo Jason and Tanasha Gray, authors, inspirational speakers, and marriage advocates. Together with Reverend Joe Kim and Linda Wren Phillips of Wallace Memorial Church and other conference speakers. This year's theme is all about discovering triggers and patterns in your marriage. Register for the upcoming Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference and plan to be there either in person or online. Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference will be held on Friday, March 25th, 6 to 8 p.m., and Saturday, March 26th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meet us at the Coyaba Beach Resort. Online participants fee is $80 each and in person $400 each. As a bonus, lunch and marriage books will be provided for in-person attendance. Additional books will be available for purchase during the conference. For more information and to book Jason and Tanasha Gray for upcoming seminars, workshops, or conferences, please visit us at sourceofwellness.org or send an email to info@sourceofwellness.org.
All right, guys. Bless good night to everyone again. And in studios with me tonight, I have two beautiful people. Yeah, a beautiful man and a beautiful woman. Can you imagine that? So this is who you guys are seeing on screen. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for us, if it make any more sense. Let's see what I can do here. Nah. Okay, good. I'll probably work with this one. Yeah, I'll stick with this. So welcome to Youth Energy Friday. I notice I have two persons wearing t-shirts with Grenada flags on them, and before I get into the epic stuff, I really would like to know a little bit about you guys. Jason and Tinasha Gray. They call themselves Team Gray.
Team Gray.
Team Gray. All the way. All right, guys. So welcome to Hope FM Grenada. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to share the platform with me tonight. I don't know how long you plan to stay, but enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Right,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Right. Okay, so what brings you guys to Grenada? Don't tell me that this is home.
This is home for me. I was born and raised right here on the island, and for myself, it's a time of celebration here on the island. I have Jason with me, my husband. My family was here. They actually went back today, the children, and we have our teams that came in on the same flight, actually. So, of course, we are willing and ready to have conversation with you. Thank you for having us.
All right, great.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Tanasha and I are from Atlanta, Georgia, and we're spending a little time here. We have our conference that we are doing, and we look forward to imparting knowledge and our experiences to the wonderful people out there who's going to attend.
All right, great. So, guys, something I noticed, and I'm like, wow, epic. What a team. Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference. I would love for someone to speak about that.
All right. Well, this is something that spun out of a weekly conversation that Jason and I would normally have on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday on our platform, we speak on marriages. The whole idea and the premise is to celebrate marriage. We understand that the world these days are just going in different direction when it comes to marriage. And we know for a fact that it is something that's honorable. It's an institution that God created from the foundation. And when he said it was not good for man to be alone, we recognize that he made a woman to be with this man. And so on a stage like ours, where we talk about marriages, it is exactly what we do. We celebrate the union. We celebrate the fact that we are one flesh couple and we're doing this thing, working together.
Wonderful. So, Jason, what do you say?
I'm in total agreement with her. On Wednesday is the day that we get on and we talk about relationships, and we talk about it from different views. The male perspective, the female perspective. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Michelle. Okay. So, I would love to know, how long are you guys married? That's a personal question. I know about that.
How long have we been married?
Yeah.
We've been married 18 years. It will be 18 years in August.
Okay,
I've known her for 19, but we've been, married.
You said
18.
you said a lot. You said a lot. Well, guys, so I want to ask, what should the participant of Epic expect of you guys?
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's a great question. We would allow our team mentors, Bobby and Curtis mentor, to come and to share what can participants expect. The theme is triggers and patterns, and
Okay.
so they have a very good understanding of what we're talking about. And so we'll invite them to come in and share.
Okay. well,
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
All
So,
right.
Bobby, and that's team.
Curtis,
That's
mentor.
team mentors. All right.
All right.
Okay, all right.
All right, Bobby. Welcome to Grenada.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
How are you guys enjoying it here, by the way?
Oh, wow. We just had an amazing meal. And I tell you, I just didn't want to stop eating. So I said, I'm going to just keep on eating and just take my time. But it was
Careful, be careful
delicious.
now. You might just have to answer to God.
Oh, it was excellent. Plantains like I've never tasted.
Yeah?
Not even in America.
Okay.
Excellent.
Great. So, what do you love most about Grenada?
Wow, just right off the bat, the spirit.
Okay.
As we were flying in, and I looked over and I saw all the water, and I'm like, wow, God, you created this. And just, going into the mall, the people, the courtesy, and just everybody smiling. And it just made me feel good. This is what my husband and I were born to do. We were born to do mission work.
Okay.
And it's not just about being in America saying, oh, I've got it all together. No, but it's about, just humbling yourself and getting before the people. And where the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. God is talking about not just in the United States. God's talking about global.
Okay.
How can we serve God if we don't love our neighbor?
Definitely.
Amen. Amen.
All right. So, I asked the question earlier on, what can the participant expect when they attend
Wow.
Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference?
I'm going to let my husband start out. And
All
then-
right, well,
Yeah,
you
go
know,
ahead, honey.
We're looking at triggers and patterns in marriage, all right?
Yes.
And if you hadn't noticed, I look like a white guy, but I'm really a black guy in a white man's body. And this is really a white lady in a black lady's body.
Wow.
And that's we come into you in living color.
Yes.
And so it lines up with hope. And I'm
Yes.
about to prophesy because we got we got to handle the
Yes.
triggers.
Yes.
We got to handle the patterns.
Amen.
And see, the pattern jumps over where the P is. Those patterns come up because it's very obvious. Sometimes we have some triggers and patterns,
Yes.
and marriages have a rough time. Dealing with money, dealing with anger,
My.
dealing with different things.
Talk
What
about
caused
it.
you to go? Get ticked and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so it lines up with the HO. You got to have the Holy Spirit. You got to have what? The power of what? The P, the prayer. And then you got to have the E. You got to be enlightened in the Word.
on.
Because if you don't have the Word, you don't have no hope.
Come on.
And so marriages got to have hope these days.
Yes.
And we got to bring hope. And so we're bringing it to Grenada on the 25th and the
Yes.
26th. I mean, with this marriage conference, it is going to be epic. It's going to be handling triggers and patterns like you've never
Yes.
seen before.
And
so
ano-
you got to join that.
Yes. And another thing I wanted to say with the trigger and the pattern is with triggers, the TRIG, sometimes we can get tricked because we
Yeah.
got a IG. We got to make an example and know what the other person's trigger is. It's just those little bitty things, honey, don't leave this land there. Don't leave that land there. Don't
There you
leave
go.
dishes in the sink. Just wash it out. Don't leave the milk. I mean, those are triggers. I could say just growing up on a farm. We had to wash dishes. We had the outside well. We didn't have indoor plumbing, and we just had to clean the dishes. So for me, that's one of the things don't ever leave a dish in the sink. That's a trigger for me. And so we
And
just
I do it all the time.
He do
I'm
it all the
sorry.
time.
I'm
all
being
the
transparent.
time.
I leave dishes in the sink.
Yes.
Bobby, I'm gonna pray for you, man.
Oh,
But you know what?
and I may drop a sock or two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or
Yeah.
I may have a trail of
Ooh.
piles of paper that I leave here.
Jesus.
I like these piles. you know?
Yes.
And then somebody comes and moves them all, and I got to find what I was looking for, and it may cause a trigger. Oh, and then I'm saying, "Oh Lord, hope."
Yes.
Hope.
but the pattern is the PAT. We got to pattern ourselves after God, and we have to pat our husbands on the back, you know. And then we got a TER. We got to go into new territory, different chapters in our marriage, because the EN, we have to be enlightened, and that's what God does. He enlightens us with these patterns. But you know, one of the wonderful things, the Grays have been, their anniversary was August. Ours is in August, and this coming August would be 20 years for us. So
20 years.
so I understand his patterns, you know. And my grandmom said, don't always speak. Shut your mouth. Lock your lips, and let the Holy Spirit come in and do what it needs to do. So I think that's what our pattern is, just pattern after each other, piggyback off the other person. You don't always have to be the one to win the conversation. Just shut your mouth and listen, ladies. You know, gentlemen, submit to that woman. You know, I say, if she want flowers, women, this is for you. Okay, some of y'all are out there, you're getting ready, you're engaged. You know, there was a woman on the flight, she had a veil on, and I'm like, wow, I just wanted to minister right there on the plane, you know, because she was all hyped up, but I'm like, wow, what is your trigger and your pattern gonna be?
Yeah.
You know, for going into the marriage. So for me, it's like, just please understand, if this is something when you're courting, you know, make a pattern. If you want flowers, you better tell them, I want flowers. It don't have to be but a 99-cent carnation. But if you want a flower on a Monday or a Tuesday or bring the flowers, because on Sunday you get to make a what? You get to make a bouquet out of all those flowers. But just be transparent and let the man know, because men are really simple. Let the man know, okay, this is what I want. And guess what? He's going to do it. Okay, because one thing about men, they listen. They're like elephants. They're very intelligent, and they don't forget anything. So it's just, we just got to create the patterns, make the pattern. But you know what? We can also color those patterns.
Okay.
Color those patterns, and with small things. I serve my husband every day on nice dishes, and serve him, I take his food to him. You know, I've done a lot of damage, but in a good way. That's my pattern. I'm gonna have to live with it. I can keep going, but I'm gonna save some of this for the conference.
And you got to understand the difference between men and women.
Yes.
Men are like microwave ovens. Man, we see a woman, we heat up. It causes some of those triggers. But then a woman is like a crock pot.
Yes.
You know, that soup that just barely got the heat on it, and it's soothing, and it takes a while. So they're more sensitive to touch,
Yes.
and we are more sensitive to sight.
Yes.
So we got to know the triggers and patterns to work together, where we
Yes.
can work this thing out and
Yes.
have hope.
And
That's
have
what
a
we're
happy
talking about.
marriage. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, that's hope.
That's hope.
That's
Oh,
hope.
wow,
That's
wow,
hope.
wow. You guys should have
Yes.
probably stayed around for the conversation next, because what we'll be speaking about is conversation before saying I do.
Ooh, I
So
like
that's,
that.
That's our second part here. Those two young guys over
Yeah.
here.
Well, you know what a
Yes.
single person is, right? A single person is this: somebody that has SING. They sing into the LE, to the leadership ability that's God in them.
My
And what they
God.
got to do, they got to keep the SIN, keep the sin out, and keep the G right in the middle, where God is the center of their life.
Yes.
And if they do that, they'll walk with the Lord, and they'll be
Yes.
enlightened
Yes.
because they're single, and they need to learn to be a whole person
that's
when they're
good.
single.
Yes.
Because they say, when they at church, they say, "Where's your better half?" I say, "No, you just cut my wife in half.
Yes.
Where is my better whole?
Whole.
Yes.
Where's my better complete one?
Yes.
Where's my better, completeness? Because she's already was complete before she met me.
Yes.
So you got to understand. You got to understand your identity when you're single.
Come on.
And
Yes.
when you're married.
Amen.
All right.
That's
Amen.
good.
Guys.
We're about to have church up in here, y'all.
Guys. It's more than church.
But
This is
thank you for having us.
That's
We're
right.
very
Yeah,
honored.
I'm happy you guys are here. I'm just sucking it all in. Trust me.
Amen.
I'm like, stay and be a part of the conversation tonight. Jason is like, let's talk.
That's right.
Let's see what can happen.
Because it's relationships. I'll say
Yeah.
this, and then I'm done for this segment. But relationship is this: you got to relate to the ship.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get off this island
Okay.
and get on a sailboat or a yacht or whatever kind of boat, I need to know how to control that
Wow,
boat. I need to
that's
know how
good.
to start it up. I need to know where to put the anchor. I need to know. I got to relate to the ship, and that's what marriage is. You got to relate to the ship.
And you
Relationship.
also got to know how to turn that handle to get that sail in the right direction so the wind can hit it. So you're not gonna be tipsy
Or
turpsy.
it's
So
gonna
boy,
be
I'm telling
too much
you.
drama.
All right. All right.
I love the way this is going, guys.
Yes.
So, this has been Team Minters?
Team Mentor.
Minters.
Mentor,
Yeah. Minter.
Yes,
Minter.
yes.
All
We
right.
like to bring a refreshment and open up that new TER territory. I said I would stop. Okay, I'm stage
No, no, you
right.
So guys, there you have it. This is very interesting stuff here. Trust me, I want to just for those of you guys who just joining us, let me just run this clip here one more time. So keep it locked a bit.
Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference is hosted by the dynamic duo Jason and Tanasha Gray. Authors, inspirational speakers, and marriage advocates. Together with Reverend Joe Kim and Linda Wren Phillips of Wallace Memorial Church and other conference speakers. This year's theme is all about discovering triggers and patterns in your marriage. Register for the upcoming Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference and plan to be there either in person or online. Epic Reloaded Marriage Conference will be held on Friday, March 25th, 6 to 8 p.m., and Saturday, March 26th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meet us at the Coyaba Beach Resort. Online participants fee is $80 each, and in person, $400 each. As a bonus, lunch and marriage books will be provided for in-person attendance. Additional books will be available for purchase during the conference. For more information and to book Jason and Tanasha Gray for upcoming seminars, workshops, or conferences, please visit us at sourceofwellness.org or send an email to info@sourceofwellness.org.
All right, and we are back, guys. Wow. All right, I think I'm gonna keep him agreeing to that. Yeah. You wanna stay a little bit?
Dr. Curtis will stay.
You see, Dr. Curtis, I hoping that we can somehow stay connected, all of us, a matter of fact, because what we do here, especially on Sunday, my wife and my friend's wife, they normally have a program called Team Family. So that's what we discuss a lot of the relationship issues and so on. So we be happy. I mean, if you're back at home, that's okay. We could just send you a link and be on screen.
Hey,
and
there's
so much
no
can
distance
happen.
in technology. You know that.
You know, so I would definitely stay in touch. I already have her number, so we'll stay in touch and see what can happen. Fridays for the youths. You know, you guys talking big people stuff on a Friday. You know, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I see Brother Joachim is all. He says, good night all.
Yes.
I'm locked.
Yes, Team Philip.
Yeah. So, two things I noticed there. There's a price for the event, but I also recognize that if you register online, you pay way less. That's true. Is that true?
Yes. So if you register online,
you pay
yeah.
$80?
Well, that's you're not getting dinner, lunch. You're not getting the experience at Coyaba Beach Resort.
Okay.
The book that we're giving and the actual handbook for the conference. So those are not going to be provided.
Okay.
Therefore,
But you can get the knowledge for less.
But you get the knowledge for less. You're there in person, but you're not hands-on with us.
Okay, so you're missing out a lot.
You're missing out. And plus, there are 3 sessions. Session on Friday night, and session Saturday morning, and the 3rd session is Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
So they're only getting the middle part of that, the Saturday morning.
That's sad.
Yeah,
I
it is
haven't
sad.
registered
So
as yet. I mean, I saw it at church, and I wrote down the email, the web page to check it out, and I just got stuck but you're here tonight, making me feel
Yeah,
bad.
so come on in. You come on in Friday night, 5 o'clock. Come to register for you and your spouse, and
Yeah.
don't come alone. Come with some friends.
Bring some friends.
Come with some
All
friends.
right, wonderful. All right, so anything else you guys want us to know tonight, just before we wrap it up? Anything
Well, I do
else?
know that we're doing some other missionary work on the island while we're here. We're going up to Certeres Pentecostal Church on Wednesday evening.
Okay.
We'll be there at 7 p.m. So we are preaching, we're ministering to the community. So if you're in that area, the northern part of the country, we want you to come out to the Certeres Pentecostal Church.
Okay.
We'll be there from 7 o'clock. We'll be ministering. Some of our books will be available on sale as well. And we'll be celebrating.
But I would love to give you guys an impromptu invite to come back to the station and do something a little more detailed.
Okay.
Do you
We're
accept
here.
it?
We're here.
Sir, would you accept it?
I accept.
No, he's just like quiet. Just I know. You're not saying a lot, but I know you're saying a lot. Can you say something more than what you just not saying?
Go for it,
I
baby.
know. I know. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just bubbling up inside.
I know,
I'm just taking,
I
I'm just taking all of this in. So I may look quiet on the outside, but there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom
I'm not fooled.
in here. So
I'm not fooled, Jason. Trust me, I'm not fooled.
I'm saving myself for the conference. That's when I'm going to explode.
Okay.
So if you want to see Jason talk,
Yeah.
come to the
You
conference.
gotta come to the conference. Someone is asking a question. Is it $400 per person or couple?
Yes, it's $400 per couple.
Per couple.
So you come, husband and wife team, or if you have friends and you just want to pair up and just come, then come and pay that $400 for you and that other person.
So
it's a
sometimes
couple.
single persons, they look at marriage and they really want to be educated about marriage before they get into marriage. Like my friend just gave us a whole different angle of singleness. I mean, I've never heard it like that before. But can someone who's single still attend? I'm not single, by the way. I'm married and happily.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I would look at it this way. It's geared for married people, but singles can certainly benefit from it. So
Yep, we have a single lady in the house. Come on, Angela.
Okay.
Angela's here. She's single. She came in from Texas, actually.
And I would
she's
say
here
this
for the
here,
conference.
that single person that comes to this event will walk away with more knowledge and so much
Yeah.
nuggets that
Yeah.
when they are ready to tie the knot,
Yeah.
they have all this knowledge and wisdom that they've gotten from going to a marriage conference.
Yeah. And that's a plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see, when you know wisdom of a things, make you operate different in it. Because when you don't know, you're just guessing. There are a lot of things I wish I knew before I got married. When I got married at 23, I'm going to be 13 years married this year in July.
Congrats.
But there are some things I wish I knew, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, there's no book
I-
on it. Marriage is work.
Yeah.
Marriage is work.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's like a business.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's difficult at times, but it's also the most rewarding at the end of the day if you play your cards right and you do what's right.
Right. And what is right is what God says.
Absolutely.
If you could agree on what God says, I think you have a good start. That's one of the things that I think has kept me for these couple of years gone by. Just being able to see what are your values in this, and if our values are the same, this work for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tanasha and I have been married going on 18 years, and of course, Tanasha is not the same person I met when she was in her 20s. Because when I met Tanasha, she was in her 20s. Now, as she's older, and I'm not going to say her age,
Okay.
but as she's older now, she's not the same person. So obviously, I deal with her differently than I did as the 27-year-old.
Yeah.
Because she's grown, she's matured, and the needs have changed. That's how relationships are. When you go back and you look at your younger self, you say, "Man, I've made so much mistakes in my younger self." And now, as an older person, I know not to do that, or I know how to do things differently because our needs change. How we were in our 20s is not how we are in our late 40s or 50s. So
Serious. All right, so guys, if you're there listening and you're married or single, and you want to be a part of this, can you tell them where they can get some more information?
Absolutely. So you can go onto our website, sourceofwellness.org. There you can find information about the conference.
Okay.
We want you to register early if you can. We do understand that There is some challenge, I think, with the. They're asking for zip code with the online payment portion of things.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. If that's the case,
6 zeros
yeah,
should
just
work.
contact us.
Or you
Our
can do 5
phone
or 6
number.
zeros. I think that works sometimes.
Okay, so 5 zeros.
Yeah, either
Yeah,
5 or
5
6
zeros
zeros
will
can
probably
work
work. So
sometimes,
do
yeah.
that. Get your registration in for the online portion if you're going to be viewing online. But if you're coming in person, come Friday night at 5 o'clock to register. Power and names with the Minters, they're going to explode on you just the way they did here, with your family last name. They'll talk about that with you privately. And on Saturday morning, we want you to come at 9 to register because we want to get started on time.
Okay.
Yeah?
So, and average, what do you anticipate the day to be like in terms of time? Would it be 4 hours, 6 hours? 8
So
hours?
Saturday morning would actually be from 10 to 1.
Okay.
Yep, we're doing, or 10 to 12, we're doing lunch. And we have lunch in between. And after that, we're going to the second portion of the day.
Okay.
With group discussions, we're actually going to have our conference speakers in the morning. Later, we have group discussions. That's where we
Okay.
really, open up. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, guys. So let me thank you very much for taking time off your busy schedule to pop by. As I said, we're definitely going to be in touch. I'll also post the flyer that you sent me on our Facebook page so that persons can see, and get more information.
Awesome.
So it was an absolute pleasure with you guys.
Thank
being here
you.
Tonight. I
having
wish you
us.
guys can stay a whole lot longer, to be honest. I kind of wish you could kind of stick in, but then again, we didn't plan it, so I don't really want to force the people who are here for
Okay.
the program. So as I said earlier on, you have another opportunity just before you fly again
Okay.
to come back. Now that you know who we are.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for having us.
All right.
Yeah,
It was a
thank you,
pleasure.
thank
Absolute
you.
pleasure. All right, guys. So there you had it from the Cuppers and the event that is on the horizon, soon to come. Epic. I wanted to ask you guys a question. Sorry, just before you go. Epic. Why Epic first? I
Epic.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
should he answer that question? Because he has a way how he makes acronym for everything.
Right.
But go ahead. Sorry.
So Jason and I came up with EPIC simply because we had a transformational testimony, something that happened in our marriage, which we wrote about in our book. So if
Okay.
you want to know the real meaning of EPIC for us, it's transformational. You got to get the book.
Okay.
The book tells it all, but we've had an epic event in our life that changed everything. And of course, there's an acronym for it.
Okay.
But Jason, you wanted to say something?
Share it, please.
I can't think of the acronym, but I can just say, there was a point in our marriage where, we had some things going on. I would say, on my part, it was a moral failure that went on, and the word epic is what came out of this incident.
Okay.
And we spoke about it in our book, but there's a deeper meaning behind it. But just think of somebody taking a grenade, tossing it inside of a room, and you have a big explosion that go on, and you're in that closet trying to figure out exactly what had happened, what's going on. Well, that was the epic event.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what happened in our marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we're so passionate about this.
And I would say it was a full disclosure moment.
Okay.
And we just leave it at that.
And the thing about it is, what I know is how God is able to get a little bit blurry on your side there, but let's see if I can fix that here. Yeah, the thing about it is, it's amazing how God is able to, I would say, take what seems to be a failure and turn it into a success.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
God is the restorer
is-
of marriages, and that's
Yeah.
why we call our book From Brokenness to Wholeness. Because we were broken, and God restored it, and now we're back to wholeness.
He's able to make your life epic.
Yes.
All right, guys. So, again, let me say thank you again. Can't say thank you enough.
Thank you for having us
All
here.
right, great. All right, guys. So, if you're on, I just want to encourage you to stay locked in and take an opportunity to share with us. Share the stream. Let me just get something here real quick. Yeah. So take the opportunity to share the live. Tell someone it's Youth Energy Friday, but it was just a bit mature, an immature side to begin with. But I promise we have something good in store coming up. So keep it locked, and stay in touch. All right.
Yes. And we sing.
we sing. Yes, Lord. We sing right up. All the things
that I've been through.
everything.
Didn't know I would make it through your grace.
Your grace pulled me through, Jesus.
Because of your grace.
All the sleepless nights.
All the sleepless nights and the tears from my eyes.
Yes,
The
Lord.
struggles and the obstacles I face all the time. Your grace.
Your grace, Jesus.
Because of your grace.
Right up.
I was lost and was broken. It's like I was in bondage. So many tears I cried. The Lord has kept open. And second that you are chosen. Purpose in my life. You have purpose.
She has purpose. He has purpose. Everybody is we have purpose.
Right up.
You have purpose. She has purpose. He has purpose. Everybody is we have purpose. All the things that I've been through, didn't know I would make it through your grace. Because of your grace. All the sleepless nights and the tears from my eyes, the struggles and the obstacles I face all the time. Your grace. Yeah. Because of your grace.
Jesus, because.
All the things that I've been through, didn't know I would make it through your grace. Yes. Because of your grace. Because of your grace. All the sleepless nights and the tears from my eyes, the struggles and the obstacles I face all the time. Your grace. Yes, Lord. Because of your grace.
Right up, right up, right up.
All the things that I've been through, didn't know I would make it through your grace. Because of your grace. All the sleepless nights and the tears from my eyes, the struggles and the obstacles I face all the time. Your grace, Lord. Because of your grace.
Because I am grace. Yeah, man.
Because of your grace.
Nothing else.
Because of your grace.
Just because I am grace. Yeah. Because I am grace.
Of your grace.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Because of your grace.
Listen, sir. Only because I am grace. Right up, right up.
Only because
Alright then. Unto God.
Because of your
Because I am grace.
Because of your grace.
I will take it up a notch. Because I am grace. Yes, Father. I want to thank you for your grace and your mercy. I couldn't make it through without your grace and mercy. And we made it through because of God's mercy. So I'm encouraging you. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all things shall be added unto you. You might be going through situation, but remember, the grace of God live on. Right? You see truthfully, it's you that I'm after. Oh Lord, yeah, I'm running to the altar. No, my best is not enough. You are looking at the altar of my heart, not performance, no performance. My yes is what you want. My obedience is worth more than my song. Not performance, no performance. I don't wanna do it just to say I did. I got to examine every praise I give, every hand I lift. Did it come from a pure heart? Did it come from a clean heart? Cause I know these days strange fire is being offered up, thinking it's your desire, but no, you deserve more than your children pulling on the show. Cause I know my best is not enough. You are looking at the altar of my heart, not performance, no performance. My yes is what you want. My obedience is more than a song, not performance, no performance. God, will you take me back to those days and those nights where my passion was for you to be pleased with my life? I'd seek your face, I'd find my place at the feet of the Master. You want a broken spirit and a contrite heart. You desire truth on the inside part, and I'm closing off the curtain, end of the show. Cause if it's one thing that I know, it is that my best is not enough. You are checking out the altar of my heart, not performance, you don't want performance. Oh, my yes is what you want. My obedience is worth more than my soul. Not performance, you don't want performance. Let me tell it as it is. Me use my tongue for worship, then me use my tongue for gossip. Claim say you will please, but you tell me that is not yet unforgiveness in my heart and still standing as a prophet. Holy Spirit tell me if you stop it. Oh, reverence in my heart for the King, but I forgot it. Surrender every pride, everything, just every habit. Me can't sing, me love God, but me hate Patrick. Prefer come off with the instrument and clap it. All my best is not enough. You are checking out the altar of my heart, not performance, you don't want performance. Oh, my yes is what you want. My obedience is better than sacrifices, not performance. Oh, my best is not enough. You are searching out the altar of my heart. Oh, no performance. Oh, I give you my all, whatever you want. My obedience is more than a song, more than melodies, it's more than a song. I am running to the altar. Oh, Jesus, I am running to the altar. Everything will
Well, it's John Morgan Monday. I've got a message again. Listen. Look into the mirror, tell me what you see. It's gonna tell you something about your history. You were created, every king and every queen. In this perfect image, they don't want you to believe you're a work of art, masterpiece. Tell yourself, and don't you be deceived. They're hoping that you never know who you can be. So I am telling you what Jaja told me. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Don't you know you're perfect? I'm telling you, you're worth it. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Why are you caught up with the color of my skin? Don't you know racism is a sin? And you're endorsing the ism and schism. It's not too optimistic, we can get along. We should know that we are fair to look upon. Anything that's told to you is truly wrong. Be convinced you've been beautiful all along. You're beautiful. Don't let them tell you you're beautiful. Hey, don't you know you're perfect? Oh, well, just believe that you are worth it, yeah. You're beautiful. You better believe it. You're beautiful. It's not too optimistic, we can get along. We should know that we are fair to look upon. Anything is told to you is truly wrong. Be convinced you've been beautiful all along. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Don't you know you're perfect? I'm telling you that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You should know you're perfect. Just believe that you are worth it. You are beautiful. Oh yes, you're beautiful. Skin clean, you're pretty. Are you handsome? Whatever it is, you're awesome. Beautiful, yeah.
In my jam. Hey. If you're trying to look in my confidence is higher than the sun. Every obstacle that they set for me, I have managed to overcome. And I know it is wherever I go, grace and mercy not far behind. Yeah. Ay, 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 ay. Give me favor with my enemies, nothing is out of time. I declare you are for me. That is all I need to know. God is for me. That is all they need to know. So make a walk around with me at night. I have no need to beg. I'm a child of the Most High. Sleep peacefully when I close eye. Hey, you are for me. That is what they need to know. Oh, 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 oh. If you try to log in, my transgression is at the bottom of the sea. Go swimming for it if you wish. Every one of my sin has been washed away. His banner is over me.
Oh yes, so we still on the inside, guys.
Don't tell me how far to go. 'Cause I'm living on
And this is Voice of the One, Samuel Midders. And guys, you know, some upcoming very soon, Sam is gonna be in Grenada, yeah?
That is all I need to know.
So I hope you got your tickets already because it's a long time we've been inside. We want to go outside a little bit and take out the mask and free up and you understand what he's saying, eh?
Don't need to beg. I'm a child of the Most High. Sleep peacefully when I close eye.
I want to say that this event has been planned and it came in a good time. But while I'm on that, I want to give you guys some information tonight. So on the 21st of April, Hope FM will be having its first annual health walk. Alright, so look out for some more information in the future where that is concerned. Our first annual health walk. Understand what I'm saying, alright? First annual health walk. Well, all your the vibes, all your my company rich. Already know if I wasn't looking for company tonight, but I get. Well, I'm sorry, vibes just gonna change right now. And also, listen, come May 21st, we'll be celebrating. Hope turns 1. All year. Keep it locked to Hope FM, you know. We also have some other little bits I will inform you guys on in the coming weeks, alright? But for now, put the dates in your calendar. April 21, the Hope FM first annual health walk, alright? And May 23rd, that is. I think I got my dates and them wrong, you know. Let me rewind on that. April 23rd is the Hope Health Walk. That's a Saturday. And May 21st, Hope FM turns 1. Yeah.
You know, if you don't stop playing, I will stop singing, right? Easy.
Gonna pause right here and take a quick commercial break and come back with some vibes and some energy. Alright, keep it locked.
Higher Level Promotions presents the first ever Praise Fest Sunday and Gospel Concert. Chantamel Plainfield, St. Patrick featuring K. Morale, Gideon Gilbert, Kerry Davis, and for the first time on Grenadian soil, the long-anticipated musical minister, straight out of Guyana, Samuel Medas.
If it don't look like Jesus, if it don't smell like freedom, if it ain't dropped from heaven, choreographed by the Spirit.
Yes, Grenada, Samuel Medas and the Kingsmen Band.
In my Father's house is where I'm gonna be.
Sunday starts at 2 p.m. and Gospel Concert at 6 p.m. Get your early bird tickets for $25. Children under 12 pay $5 at the gate.
Get your tickets at Grenadian Optical
in St. George's, Cookies, Pastries, and Delights Bakery in Grenville. Or contact 404-6288. Saturday, April 30th at the Chantamel Plainfield, St. Patrick Praise Fest Sunday and Gospel Concert. See you there. Higher Level Promotions presents the
correct sound. Brother, what you do? I beg you, don't be sleeping on a bicycle.
Hey, listen, I call my brother for phone. They ask him how he dey be. He tell me say, man, everywhere don't red and he get us. I tell her say no worry, as long as say we know they mortuary. See, we dey alive, we still dey breathe. That's something where I believe. See, God no go shame us.
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 God no go shame us. The blessing go loud, you go worry the neighbors.
You go worry the neighbors.
God no go shame us.
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 God no go shame us. The blessing go loud, you go worry the neighbors. Oga, this one no be bobo. I know they talk waiting, I don't know. When the time go reach for you to collect your bread, you go collect the jumbo. Hey, you don't the way you don't the grind there, and it be like say your own never enter. When they go send you a latte, I like you, they no go use enter. As for me, I no get issue. They let you marry, now they me do. Now in the shower the blessing, so when I do so, I no want it. Hey, somebody won't carry my picture, go babalawo. I tell her do it first. Say that picture where you want is stuff. I make her send them the one, we could make sense. Because God no go shame us. Okay, God no go shame us. Hey, God no go shame us. The blessing go loud, you go worry the, you go worry the. Hey, God no go shame us. God no go shame us. God no go shame us. The blessing go loud, you go worry the neighbors.
Well, good night, people. I'm here and we're having a wonderful time. Yes, this is Youth Energy Friday, so keep it locked to 103.1 FM.
Everything I lay my hands upon is blessed.
that you know they my DNA. Cause I am born of the word, and whoever is born of the word, he's a conqueror. I am more than a conqueror, and the lines are falling onto me in pleasant places, and your grace is extremely evident. I am blessed, so blessed. Everything I lay my hands upon, He is blessed. I am blessed, so blessed. Everything I lay my hands upon, He is blessed. I say my mind is up.
Thank you so much. And I give you the praise. Anyway, as I rise up in the morning, I smile with the rising sun. I say, Lord, I thank you for what you have done. I greet my friends and my family. I say, Lord, you give me victory. I thank you for what you have done. Oh my God. And I say, all who know want to see me prosper, all who want to see me go under. I say, oh my God, what I have done. But I want to tell my God, thank you, cause I am alive. Oh my God, I said, I am alive. Oh, when the prayer goes up, the blessing come down. I am alive. Oh, thank you, my God, I said that I am alive. All who want to see me dead, I am alive. Thank you, my God. Oh, when the prayer goes up, the blessing come down. I am alive. I said that I am alive. I go to the car accident and say I am alive.
Steps up on your desktop.
Steps up.
Yeah.
You're right, boy. Yeah. My God, he good, oh. My God, he good, oh yes, he good. 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 I did feel up for my head, I did feel up for my brain. I did feel up for my brain, I did feel up for my head. I did feel up for my head, I did feel up for my brain. My God, he good, oh shit, baba. Oh shit, baba. Oh shit, baba. I'm so glad you make me shine. I know go low, you lift me so high. If you do you a shaky body, the Lord is good. Tell somebody, I'm a testimony. Steps up in the building, sing it. My God, he good. Oh yes, he good.
Well, all you could see what's going on in studio, eh? We're having a wonderful time in the presence of the Lord here. Kellyanne, we need to see some actions, please. All the real comic in the studio here. We coming along to the conversation in just a bit. Stay tuned.
goodness and grace in your life too. Never power, never might, like a Jew too. But that down man will praise his name. For by his blood, yes, we overcame. And never, 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 ever doubt to pray. We give ourselves to you these days, Lord. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. It all belongs to Jesus. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. Head, shoulders, knees, and toe. It all belongs to you.
Well, guys, we're starting the conversation this evening with the Wilkinsons. Welcome, Don Ray and Kellyanne.
Good evening. Good night.
Yeah. Good,
yeah.
Hello. How y'all doing?
We are good. We there.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, we're ready to talk.
To continue the
chat.
conversation, yes.
Mhm.
Well, the last time you were here, we were having a conversation about a certain topic.
Yes.
All right. I think that topic was before saying I do. Conversation before saying I do. All right. So, to all our viewers, we are basically continuing that conversation from the last time they were here. All right. It's a continuing of the conversation about before saying I do. All right. So, all over to you.
All right. So, it's good to be back in the studio. We're standing tonight, so I hope we can stay still. Both of us kind of legs kind of doing its own little thing. But yeah, so it's good to be back today. We're going to continue our conversation from last time we were here. We started talking about conversations before saying I do. As you know, this is Crucial Conversations with the Wilkinsons, and so we're chatting about what conversations we should have or we need to have before we choose to say I do or get married. All right, so last time we were here, we talked a lot about motives. We talked about key things that we should share with our partner. We spoke about family of origin and coming from different frames of references and how that would influence what we bring into the marriage at some point, and understanding each other's views about marriage, even if they are Christian or not, and preparing ourselves for, what this other person might be bringing into our world and what we might be bringing into theirs. So it was a pretty exciting conversation, and so we want to carry on today. Before we start, as we go into this, I would like you guys to consider we have a question to think about. What you guys think about? If you could answer it in the chat, and so while we talk, if there's any question or conversation that you might have had before you said I do, or if there's any conversation you think or you wished you had before you said I do. So yeah, hit us up in the chat or so forth if you're listening, and let's dive in.
Yeah, thank you for that nice recap. Yeah, and we started that conversation, and it has been so enlightening for many persons. The reviews was really good as to how much they gained from it. So we just want to continue with that conversation, and we want to discuss finances as a next crucial conversation that should happen. Yeah. How would y'all manage finances? Yeah. How do we navigate that space, especially if you're a couple who, you know, your single life took you into a bit more of a mature phase, where you might have been working for a couple of years, so you accumulate some assets, yeah, and so on, and now you need to combine with this person, yeah.
Yes.
Conversation must happen. Yeah, because you've been living the last probably 8 years or 10 years of your life working and accumulating assets, and now
independent.
Yeah, being an independent woman, you know. Yeah. And it's a serious thing, because we and you could observe it in our society. A lot of women, they pursue the education and they get a stable job and they accumulate assets, and and they know they're accustomed doing things for themselves.
Right.
Or paying to get something done. But now a man is in your life, right? And you know, he wants to feel that, hey, I am contributing to this marriage financially, and I am able to provide for my wife and children as they come, and all these kind of stuff. And how do we manage that space? Right? Is it your finances? Is it our finances? You know, these kind of conversations need to happen.
This is amazing, because wedding off, like, that's what we plan to discuss next week on the Money Talk.
Oh yes.
Wedding off. Marrying with assets. Yeah. But let's continue tonight.
We won't go as deep as you guys gonna go.
Yeah. No, actually, we're actually going to look at it from a legal perspective. So
Okay.
we're going to have a lawyer on.
Well, that's good. That's good.
From that aspect. You
Right,
understand?
right.
But let's go.
Yeah, so I'll tune in next week for deeper
Monday.
stuff on that.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Lynn.
Hi everyone who has joined us and so on. Yeah. But it's important, especially in this season that we live in. Yeah, where a lot of persons not so anxious to get married as before. You know, before the culture was progression. You go to school as a woman, and then after that you're married and you have children and that kind of stuff. But now, you know, you educate yourself, you develop yourself, and then when the man come along, then you all join. So then at that point you would have assets, and you need to really think about that.
Right.
How are we going to do it? How are we going to manage that? And sometimes the both of you all come into the relationship, and both of you all may have land.
Right.
Right? Both of you all may have a house.
All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So how do we manage that and stuff? So these conversations is what need to happen.
Oh yes.
And there must be some kind of common ground as to how we gonna where we gonna settle at. Is it that we can't live in two houses, so we're gonna rent out one and live in one?
Crucial
You
conversation.
know,
because I've heard women say, listen, I don't want no man gonna put me out. I want to make sure I have all that I have, and then if we have, when we meet, we're gonna have that discussion as to how we're gonna manage that. To me, I can't say it's wrong, I mean, everybody have a right. Naturally, sometimes families, like you as a man, your father might have given you a nice portion of land, a couple of acres of land, and what you gonna do? You give him back and say, I want when I'm married, I'll get my own. You can't say that. Alright? But we're not gonna drum the gun with that one. I hope I can just get to the end of it really quick, but that will take away the fun. So let's continue.
The important part is to talk about it.
Yes.
Have that conversation.
And that's what the idea of this crucial conversation is, that hey, these are a conversation that you need to have. Right.
And we're not coming from it from a perspective of just you're thinking you're grown up now and you have a job and you have assets and all of that. But even you're in school, you might be in college, you
Right.
might be in university, but in your mind, you're anticipating, okay, one day I might be married, one day I might have children. So even now, you need to solidify in your mind what is your value system when it comes to finances
Yeah. Right.
and getting married. Yeah, so it's not just for those of you that listen, we're not just talking about older people that in the place where they did it, but as you're growing, what is your mindset towards what you want to achieve? Because sometimes we as teenagers and as young adults and stuff, we hear certain things and we start internalizing that. And you might hear things like you might hear an older person in your circle that you value saying things like, well, my money is my money,
right,
and his money is our money, right? And you grew up with that in your head.
We're going somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. You grew up with that in your head, and then you become a young adult, and you're thinking about marriage. You meet this nice person, this nice guy or whatever, and you telling him, well, I have my house, I have my land, I have my car, I have my money in the bank, and that's mine, right? But whatever you have, that's ours, and that's what I have. That's what I understand.
Wow, boy, that rough. Bro, that rough.
That does
what
cause
you
conflict.
have is mine, and what you have is ours.
Yeah.
So,
but I've heard that.
That's a question. That's a question. That you should have a question there.
Yeah, and the thing about it, when it comes to that, that's just for assets. But what about the debt? Right? Because yes, yeah, you see that one hit the headphone off your head. But for real, because yes, she may have a car and she may have house and so on,
right.
But she take a loan because she had a good job
and you drive
right?
the car, yeah?
And to buy the house and
yeah.
the car,
and you live
right?
in the house,
yeah, and then she may have student loan as well on top of that,
yeah.
you know. So yes, about assets, right? It's yours, but what about the debt? Right? And all of that, you know. And these are conversations that you need to have when it comes to finances. You must know. You must have a full disclosure on the liabilities
that you're going into the
relationship. Yeah, because now when you get married, right, it's not just you're tied to the assets, but you're tied to the liabilities,
everything
as well.
The whole bundle.
Yeah. So you know, all of that must be conversations, right, before you saying I do, because you don't want to marry someone and then you realize that, hey, why they taking out so much money from your account every month, and then you say, well,
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that, and then you say, well, you know how to service this loan and thing. How much is this loan? And you realize
by that time
couple $100,000.
And by that time you're married already, bro.
Yeah.
You're done inside, ring on finger.
Yeah.
Lying down on the same bed and sleep. You know what I call it? Sweeping things under the rug.
I call it deception.
Yeah. I'm more on Lady Sabi side there. That deception.
You're hiding it.
Or you could just have omitted it because you think it's not important.
I know you just put on
Yeah, but these things are important because these stuff could actually mash up your marriage.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if
Finances.
you might be surprised, a lot of persons are afraid of debt, and getting into debt.
Right.
So they may come into the relationship and the marriage on the perception that, you know, we are on a clean slate, right, and they're in a safe space, right? They don't have to face that fear alone, right? And we could step into it together,
right?
And then that is dropped on them. That could mash up a marriage, right?
Oh yes.
You see, and that's why I really want to go on it on the legal side, and I'm sure we're gonna get some bits here tonight. Careful what you're doing, as to carry over, right? Because something you just said there. It leaves me with a question in my head. What if you're married to someone who had a debt first, you come in the picture, you get married, you say you're married and you're married to the debt too, but somehow they separate later. Who's the rightful owner?
Oh gosh.
And how does that split and all of that?
Your lawyer will answer that.
That's legal matter.
But you see, that's the point.
Yeah,
it's a crucial conversation that is absolutely necessary. Because you can't say we together now and listen now, you're going on. You see that data you come with it? I don't want to do nothing to, I'm gonna have a cut of the part of your salary, and anything from there we can continue to live.
But the thing about it, as you get married and you have common goals now, right? Then you may develop common debt, right? Which is compounded upon these things, these other prior debt. So it's in a separation, and sometimes that's what people don't understand, right? They might just think divorce is like easy, but no, the lines blur. There isn't much a separation in these things, right? So you cost a lot more to draw these lines. And the lawyer can explain that better.
And it doesn't have to be a complicated conversation, because he's talking and he's talking about this. I know this is something he's really passionate about, because how long we were dating before you asked me them kind of question, right? No, this guy this guy raised this question a while in, and out of the way he's like, so let's talk about what are your views on tithing and offering? You have any debt?
That was right after I
told her about debt.
Long term.
You see that?
Right? Until debt do a spat relationship.
I was like,
this conversation start coming.
But that's real. That's real, because if two person get together, one is a giver and one is on the stingy side.
Oh yeah.
And one is like, and we understand. I think I was a part of something where me and Gat did a program on that, talking about different types of people. You understand?
Different types of givers.
Givers.
Right.
Right? Wow. Yeah. And you could do the thing that I just did a while ago, if you wish, And just imagine, man. Just imagine you are a giver. You are that amiable person, and that is because of how you grew up, how your parents. You think you just have to show love by giving, but you're married to somebody who is very analytical. So they analyze how they spend every dollar. It's not that they're not a tither, and they're not they don't give tithes, but where you would give, the other person don't want to give, and you didn't have that conversation. The confusion that comes about as a result of that. Because of varying personalities,
And that's where the conversation, when you have it, you need to find that kind of common ground. So for instance, right, I met I was talking to someone who had a similar kind of situation, and what they decided to do is to make a threshold, right? So okay, so my wife is not allowed to freely give over X amount of money, right, without saying, right?
Okay.
So in that way, the person who like to freely give, right, could do so and not and then the person who he or she is accountable to, right, will not feel left out, right, because they know we're working within these limitations. So this kind of common ground is an example of what should result out of a conversation refinances.
Right. So it's not just, don't think about it in terms of you talk to somebody and you realize their views is kind of different to yours. So no, I can't marry this person. No. Because you're gonna, even in marriage, you're gonna come to places where you're gonna meet things that you don't agree on.
True.
And if you start off with the idea that if we don't agree, or if she doesn't see it the way I see it, or he doesn't see it the way I see it, we done. It will come into a common ground and learning the art of compromise. You can learn that even before.
Wow, I think you should talk a little bit more about that, the art
of compromise.
Because that one is deep. Not only where money is concerned, but how we can be, especially when the one wants the shoes.
Why you keep bringing up the shoes? Okay, I like shoes. Let me put it out there.
Hold on. I ain't talking about you.
I like shoes.
Bro, we know you have many women that love shoes. And then if you want to point to the men, we love our gadgets.
We have men that love shoes too.
And men that love shoes. Yeah. I always say I don't love shoes so much, but at the same time, you understand what I'm saying? At the same time, it could affect. If you don't know the woman loves shoes, you will say, well, you just can't understand. The whole wardrobe full of. There's a section, and where you're supposed to have 4 shoes, it has 6 in that one little place. Right up inside it. Man, we just can't understand. And then every time the man passes by and you look at it, because he didn't know that he was going to that You know? So then who have to make the compromise in that situation? Should it be the woman?
They need to discuss it.
And that's what we call it. That's what we call it an act.
We're not giving a definite who or what.
Yeah.
They discuss it and
Have
I
that
discuss it
conversation.
and you come to some common ground,
And,
right?
and
it
even as you're
works.
speaking about that, the conversation before you get married about how do we resolve conflicts, we should talk about that too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get into the marriage, and my way of resolving conflict is like going for a walk. You know, so we need to talk about how do you deal with conflict? How you know, if we have a little disagreement, how are we gonna do, you know?
But that's a pretty hard one to do because each. I don't understand that concept too well, right? But what I do know, what I do know, what I do know.
No, we need to talk about that one. Continue, but we'll come back to it.
But what I do know is that every conflict is unique in some way. So you cannot just make a how we will deal with conflict and just make a clear cut something and just leave it there. Not it dynamic. So you have to be dynamic in the way you resolve conflict as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think a good place is to have honest, loving conversation, right, with the right attitude. You notice I change the tone.
Oh.
Yo,
so
it's easy to say when you come. You know, if you can have loving conversation.
So it's like, boy, get real.
But even something that it's real important to you, real passionate. You're real passionate about it. You know emotions can be on the surface.
Yes.
And once emotions is on the surface,
it might be
sometimes loving, better take the walk.
I think put it like that. If we go back, because we going back to the walk thing, but hear that. I think where it's so important to know and be conscious of the tone in the conversation, especially when you just got married and you never had that conversation. You were so in love until you had that first disagreement, you know, because some people are so good at masking and acting like we're so cool. We sinking things down inside.
Easy to do that for 2 hours, At 2 hours and you're gone.
You're sinking things. You're forgiving anything. You understand? You're quick to forgive. But boy, when you start living together, you realize the dynamics change. And when the person fret you, so to speak, or you see something you don't like, then what happens then? You know? What happens at that point in time? Back to the walk though. You ever take a walk?
Explain the walk for me.
No, I think
Explain
the walk
for us.
I think the walk could be a good thing. In my view. So there is some heat in the home.
Yeah.
And I remember when I just got married and I forced this argument. I had to take a walk, brother. Because you know why? I think at that point I started what happened to me, I can speak for myself, is that I started highlighting all the things I didn't like and forget about what I love. You catch me? And my brain became filled with all the things I didn't like. Well, she had all her shoes. Yeah, seriously. Well, I always pray for God to bless me that woman with long hair. But we were she go to work in the morning, she comes here and oh man, the hair go fall on the floor. You understand? And it's like, wow, what kind of thing is that? And it becomes a bit complicated when you finding little things. Honestly, to be real and frank, little things you know what, as I grew older in my relationship, I started asking myself, well, what is he having that? And when I say, well, you see the dude, why you just do it and done? But that makes sense. Because you can avoid that whole conversation instead of you going in a place where you're beating up yourself on some small things. Until I came up on a preaching from TD Jake some years ago that talk about the 80-20 rule. And I took that and I started putting it into my relationship. It worked really fine. Because a man will leave his woman and go behind. You talk about you're married now because you're married and you're saying all the time she's been hiding all these things from me. But now you're getting to the relationship and you feel like, oh, that little imperfection or this little thing, and you just start majoring on that. You turn the 20% that you think or matter of fact that deserve a conversation. Even while married, not just before, because sometimes you didn't see it before you get married. So you just start to highlight that thing, boy, and you forget about all the other things. You would see. You would need to take a walk to catch yourself.
And
To think.
I agree with the take a walk,
Just
but
a
my thing is
That walk could be dangerous too.
with taking a walk, I think couples need to have conversations before the heat, right? And before the heat, you need to understand that, hey, we're gonna get heated, and when we get overwhelmed, we're able to take a break.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing, and I'm speaking from experience, nothing could blow a woman brain off more than we talking and we having a conversation and you just gone for a walk.
I need to you need to ask permission. Hey, bro, you need to ask permission.
Yeah,
before
they
you
say
go.
that force it.
Listen. Thing I know. Listen, I think let me get back to that. I think I just need to walk the clear my head. Let me just walk and just think the whole thing through. That is what I'm talking about. Don't walk out on all your significant other because you say take a walk. And I walk when you come back. It's like gas in the fire. All right.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Don't need to take no walk, please. I want it.
I have a joke. I remember. I think every marriage has that first fight that is like, oh wow, that just gives you like a reality check.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I know.
Okay, this is real.
I tell you, that first
and
fight.
I remember we had that huge fight. I can't remember what it about, honestly. But we start to rise.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's probably the first time you hear me get loud.
Yeah. You know that.
Trying to remember that.
You probably remember that, but you remember it. You can remember it finish.
Yeah.
And my thing was, I didn't ask permission. We didn't have a conversation about taking breaks and thing. And I just blast, man. And I found a room and I slammed the door, right, in the bathroom. I slammed the door, man. But the way our apartment is made up, there's an adjoining door to the bathroom. So I slammed the door, man, and I swung inside and I fuming and I talking to myself. And he just bend the corner and he stand up there. and two of us just look at each other and the reality of, hey, you can't run from that. And we just started to laugh. But
I remember that.
Yeah, you can't run, and that was the reality. We have to come up with ways to deal with stuff. You can't just run from it. And so we had to have these conversations. Yeah. What's gonna happen when we need a break? You know, what do you need when you need your space?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, so that's just
I cried.
Your first fight?
Yeah, I remember crying. And then I recognize one thing I recognize.
Oh, serious, boy.
Yeah. Listen, one thing I recognize, I would tell anybody that, and I say again, this is my life, is my opinion. This is what happened to me, ain't saying it happened to you. But I remember feeling in the time of the first fight when you get married, it felt like there was something juking you, and it's like the more you speak, it's like you want to justify and you want to be right. So you just like you want to hush your mouth, but it's like you can't hush your mouth, and then it's like all the things that you did not speak about that you thought you didn't like. Now it's that pouring back into your mind, and it's like the devil himself is saying to you, say that.
That's when you take a break.
Remember the woman now, and if you're a man and you can be loud at the woman, or if you're the woman and the man can be quiet, they in that mood sucking in all what you're saying. And remember, you cannot take back the words that is coming from your mouth, so you could be creating and doing some serious damage. You understand what I'm saying, bro? You could be doing some serious damage at that time that could be a bit unrepairable. So except the forgiveness comes in and the good Christian values are present. Take it.
You're laughing at really plenty comedy.
Put it up on screen.
What's Renee saying there?
I can't see. Put it up on screen. Right.
The emotions hit different when you're married.
Right.
It's hard for me to hush my mouth.
Yeah. But you have to control it. Yeah. That's reality. Yeah. And you see, that's why you don't marry. Marriage is not something you're going to in a deceptive manner. You know part of it. You know, don't try to deceive nobody. I say take all the skeletons out the closet. I remember telling she some things about myself that when friends come and say, I say, listen, you don't know already. And that is who I was when God has done something in my life. You understand?
Yeah.
Because that's the next thing. Who you want to expose you? I believe in say it all. And if you get in with me, you're supposed to know what you're getting with. You're supposed to know what you're getting. You understand?
Yeah.
My strengths, my weakness, everything. And you're supposed to know. Some people don't want to say. Why? Because they're trying to pretend to be this nice angelic person or this angelic being that I'm perfect. You know, as they say, when I go to the toilet, ice cream comes out. Yeah, she's actually so nice. You know what I mean? But the reality is, man, you go with everything.
Yeah,
you know?
and some things, and that's why we're having this conversation, because again, some people, they don't know what to ask.
Okay.
And it's not that they want to be deceptive, but they genuinely
Right.
they don't know what to ask. Nobody does really tell you, okay, you need to ask this or ask that. You need to find out about this. And sometimes sadly they go to a counseling session and so on, and all the person might have said was give them some scriptures to read and say love and respect, right? Respect your husband, love your wife, and they just wrap it up nicely in a bow and they give you that, right? And you don't know what else we need to talk about. So that's why we're having these conversations, and conversations are about, you know, your family origin and your finances and all these stuff,
Yeah.
And that's important too. I want to move on, right, to the next conversation.
You want to respond to this point?
Which one?
I agree. I work for it. That isn't theirs to take.
Put it up.
I agree. I work for that. It isn't theirs to take.
That's when we were speaking about.
When we were talking about the finances.
The finances and going into marriages with
stuff. Mine is mine and
mine is
no. I think she was saying is that I work for it, so it isn't theirs to take. I come with it. It is mine. They can't come and take it even though we get married. You guys want to touch on that a little bit more? Because you know what the Bible says. People say when the Bible says when you're married, the two shall become one flesh. The asset shall become one asset. They shall become one. Then everything, the two shall become one.
Yeah, it's true that. It's chapter and verse.
No, because I'm trying to share that what something to say. So do you disagree that or do you think we can agree that, because check this out, right? Hear this good. If your father give you a piece of land, the deed is in your name. When you get married, unless you go and you make a change legally and put your wife's name on that deed, she's not the owner of the thing. Because the title deed is in Donner's name, not Kellyanne. You understand? Some people cannot see it the same way with money. So if you're married and meet me with, anyway, we see.
There's a lot of legal stuff there.
We'll get into that
I'm
lawyer on
thinking if you
Monday.
die, you know, who the land goes to, not the same. Yeah.
Well, yes, but then again, you see, you still have to go through this legal process again. Yes, you will be the rightful person to inherit it. You understand? Except the person didn't have a will or this type of thing. So for example, if you have a life insurance and you don't put me as your beneficiary and you have it as an asset, I still have to go to the court and I would lose money in the process of trying to say, okay, the benefit from the proceeds from her death because of her life insurance is rightfully mine because I'm the husband.
Okay.
So it becomes a little bit complicated. So the best thing to do is to make sure you put your wife or your husband as a beneficiary. In your bank, same thing. If the account then your name alone and the person die, it is not your name. So if you want to claim the money, you know what you have to do? You have to go and spend money to get the money. And oftentimes it's a lot of money.
But the whole idea of the two becoming one is an important part of marriage. I cannot separate. Right? And the attitude, right, that goes with the statement that, you know, this is mine, right? That kind of attitude would have to change if the two becomes one.
Right. So you don't see it as taking from me, and you know it's sharing.
And joining together doesn't mean that you have to close down your accounts and put it in one account, right? But it's more of being accountable to each other, right? And that's where the conversation would happen as to how we're going to be accountable, and that's where you could come to some kind of common ground as to how you dispose finances and so on, right? And a good way of dealing with the finances is to make a budget as a family, right? And we have a budget, so we know who responsible for what and how
What
we're
you're
gonna go
spending.
about it, and you know, and in your budget, you budget for your own personal spending as well, and so on, and you budget for fun time, whatever, date night. You budget for whatever responsibility, the children. You budget for the vehicles, the
Plan for the
maintenance,
vacation.
vacation.
Yeah.
So all of this is stuff that you put in your budget, right? So your budget becomes something that, okay, this year, this agreement on how we're gonna spend, you know, we work, we work, you know, we this is what we work with, and if it's something outside of the budget, then you know.
And you know what's cool about the budget? It kind of gives couples like a financial language.
Yeah.
So without having to go through all the details, you could just simply tell your husband, okay, well, you know, the budget for the vacation, I had to dip out of that because this was so. It like you kind of have this kind of financial language because you understand, you have a visual of where what each other's budget is, and where you fit in it.
Yeah, the give and take is easier.
Yeah.
With that budget, so that's really important. Yeah, and sometimes you could do stuff like so you want to buy additional something, okay? So I'm gonna cut back on this here. So you might have something there that you'd have planned, you'd have budgeted for, right? Say to go and get something done. Say what it is. Go and get your hair done, right? And instead of going back and do this kind of hairstyle, you know, I'll do something that'll cost less.
Yeah.
And then I was able to use that money to go to do this. But because your budget, y'all, you could see how things flowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hear you speaking, and then what I can see now is when you have the possible problems that could come out of budgeting, and when you have somebody in the relationship now who don't understand we budget. So when I say don't understand, we budget for this and that, but then no, we didn't budget for. You want to take away budget for, you understand, and go and spend it on things that you didn't budget for.
Well,
and then you had this kind of problem. You could have this problem coming out. Yeah.
But I guess it goes back to that mutual respect for each other and the agreement.
An agreement supposed to come forth. Okay, we understand we are going that direction.
We are going in that direction. So when someone divert from that direction, right? Some kind of dialogue needs to happen. You need to have dialogue. And these dialogue, and we spoke about that in previous sessions, where, you know, even in sometimes your check-ins and so on, you know, that could come up, you know. So, you know, anything that you want to talk about, how you feel about our relationship, how things going, and at that point, you know, the guy might say, you know, and I find I need some more on the budget for some sports gears, you know. I can't continue playing in this boots and thing, you know. And then you could try and see how you could work and solve that problem. Yeah, and that's where these kind of conversations that would happen, you know, and that those check-ins, right, would help deal with that.
Yeah, man.
What we have there.
Go forward then.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about as a next conversation, right, is the whole idea of goals and dreams. Yeah, goals and dreams, and this is something as I speak to couples, right, around my age group and so on, I realize that this is something that becomes more of a struggle, because probably you get married in your early 20s, and at that time, two of you all working and so on, and the idea of going and study, probably doing a master's and so, or doing a doctorate, that was nowhere in the picture, right? But you start to mature in your job, and you realize in order to go to that next level in my career, right? I'm next in line to fulfill this managerial post, but I need X or Y qualifications,
yes.
You know. But that is nowhere in your spouse plans.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to speak about these conversations. You know, speak about those goals and those dreams and so on.
But also be flexible.
Yeah.
Understanding that you could have a conversation prior to marriage and understand that could change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
When,
that's the thing.
yeah. Before you get married, you know, he might be saying he wants to be a manager in finance or whatever. And then you're married 5 years, 10 years down the line, you feel a call, you want to be a pastor.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You find like life definitely does change. Like for me, if I should speak about myself, no, I've always been in the field that I've been in, but I could remember having to, because of life happening, things happening that I didn't plan for, having to move from that and learn something else, do it for a while, go into something else, and then get back to what I was doing. And then from that, so it's a journey. And one of the things I always say regarding any conversation, even when you want to move from one thing to the next, you must have that conversation with your partner. Like, that's assuming now that you're married, not before you're married. Right? Because when you're not married, you could ask, but you don't have to subscribe to what they say. You know, you could ask, well, what do you think about that? You know, you think, and they could tell you, well, I think that you could decide if you want to, or you could decide, nah, man, that's not want to. I don't do what you say, so to speak. But when you're married now, like, I wanted to leave where I was working one time and go to my own business. No, one of the key for me to make that move was right here. I had to get consultation. It's somewhere, right? No. When I go on and say, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I think God wants me to do, and she say, well, if you feel so, then make the leap, go ahead, I'm with you. The question I ask, if I jump and I feel, will you be with me still? And she say, yeah. To me, once I get that, I was like, wow, like power to move. But if I move just like that, and she wasn't happy, and then what I jump into now ain't making sense for her, then who is to be blamed? So once we have that mutual understanding, I make the move. Now you realize, if I feel, you already know, we talk about that. So now how are we going to fix it and continue to move forward? And now she getting down in my throat and saying, well, I tell her from day one I wasn't happy with that. You know, when I'm making major moves, I always go to wifey and say, what do you think about that? If she's uncomfortable, I just pull back.
And the thing about it, not just for when you're married, but as we even before, you see, these things that you practice now, right? We are advocating that you don't wait until you reach in marriage to do that, because what you've been practicing before is what you're going to execute in your marriage. So like some people feel they could horn their girlfriend and their fiance all the time, right? And then they just go up on the altar and then that would just stop. That wouldn't stop. That wouldn't stop like that, right? That wouldn't stop like that, because you develop a habit, right? Likewise, you develop good habits, right? Like speaking about these dreams, because a lot of times it might not, whilst you're single and you're dating, right? It might just be a dream, you know, because it might take you 5 years to reach to the point where you could actually say, you know, I'm ready to go into that. But it might be a dream in your heart to have your own business, and you know it there. You know it there, and that is what this conversation is about. The conversation, yes, you would have that conversation with your spouse when you're married, but you need to speak about that dream that in your heart. You gotta speak, because you might have a dream in your heart. Like I heard persons who say, you know, they have a dream of going and work on a cruise ship, right? And that dream on their heart whilst they have a job already, right? And they dating with someone and so on, but they never share that dream with that person. But then when the opportunity come, they come and say, well, wifey, you know, I always wanted to work on a cruise ship, and this is the opportunity. Exactly. And this is look at the opportunity now, like, right? Come from nowhere. Could I go, right? And if I fail, would you still support me? You understand?
Motherfucker, going and leave her.
Yeah, and you're going and so you understand.
So how you want a relationship to work?
Yeah, and that is, and that's the reality, especially for us in Grenada. I use that example, right, on purpose, because we live in that kind of society where this is real for persons. This is real for persons, right? I mean, I spoke to persons who live in that reality where they working here and their husband on a cruise ship, and every 6 months, 8 months sometimes, he come and spend a month or so,
and then he gone again.
Gone, and that's the reality, right? So if whilst you're all dating, right, that dream was not shared, that disclosure,
But I have,
so you can just consider.
I have, as you said that, you just brought back that memory. Because remember, a couple of years after we were married, we were doing some cleaning, and I found a piece of paper that I had written some goals on, some things I would like to accomplish in, say, 10 years. So I was at work, we had this activity. I was about 21 thereabout, and the activity was to write 50 things you want to accomplish in 10 years. And then you break it down into fine bits. So what you do now, it sounds easy, but it's very hard. You probably get those that you know you want to accomplish fast. But I went until I could have, as far as I could have gone, and I kept it because it was a serious exercise to me. So then, when I found that piece of paper some years after, and I looked at all the things that I've written on it, I was like, wifey, look at that. You understand? Now, that's a good something persons who are quoting, I would say, should do together to find out what's on each other's heart.
Yeah, that's why premarital counseling.
And amazingly done. Like the part that I shared before, to get to the part where I am, on the paper I had wanted to start my own business. You understand?
Yeah.
But the part to get to that point, I didn't know how you'd have gone. Or how long. You understand? So the thing is, she knew. When I pulled it up, it was like, wow. It was excited. So it's a good thing to sit down and write down together and talk about. And how else can this exercise help you to better understand each other and to work together as you grow? Do you have any idea you could share there? I just ask it a real quick question.
I didn't quite understand the
So
question.
you sit down together before you get married. You're having this conversation about what you want to do. You both are writing your plans, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, things you would love to do, and you share it with each other right there and then. So I'm asking how else you think it could help in the long run.
And that definitely could help. We were fortunate that when we met, right, we both were studying, right, and we were able to have that time to basically discuss and that kind of material. And in fact, we created a strategic plan for a relationship. It's online. Yes, we have. But we really didn't check it back as much, but it really just the conversation, because we remember. The reason why we didn't check it much is because we remember the conversation.
It's in your heart, and it's in your heart.
Yeah, because we were able to decide on certain stuff, right? And that so that we live in it out, and we refer to it from time to time without actually looking at the actual document. But we should recheck the document. Check the document.
Sometimes I would pull out. Remember we did that whole thing. We did that whole thing with motto and all kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes I would make pull out a line from what if we have a conversation like we have one. I could see it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a line in it that one of it that's mastery of self, never conquest of others. And so sometimes when some things come up, I just like pop that through the line out and be like, will I come from again? I'm like, oh my gosh, remember? But in couples work, we have something that we call love maps. And building love maps. And like when you talk about it, that's part of some of the activities that you would do. Like how can we get into your partner's inner world? And so it's goals, it's history, it's likes, dislikes, simple things like one flavor of ice cream you like. It because when you know your partner's inner world and you have them mapped out, it's like when you mature and things start happening and things are coming up after you get married, you understand that because you know your partner in a world. You know your partner have a drive for business. You know your partner have a drive for ministry. So it's not like
where I come from.
So it's like you have it mapped out. You have the map. X is here, the house is here, this building is here, that one is there. So it's not like you out of nowhere this big skyscraper just pop up on the map and you did. Yeah. But these things, the map needs to be adjusted because just like in everyday life, when you go back to your childhood village, you may, hey, I didn't know you had a house there. Same thing that's happening in marriage. So you always have to be remapping and constantly knowing your partner's inner world. So even that exercise there, you don't just do it in the beginning of marriage. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah.
Because after the 10 years pass for real, you would have some changes.
I just want to give person some context, right? Because it might seem like weird, like these guys do all these things, right? What was happening is this, right? My wife was doing a master's in counseling and psychology, and her main focus was marriage and family counseling. So all these things, these tools was you know, was what she was learning, right? And then I was at Bible school, right, and I was doing Christian counseling, Christian family counseling, right? So I was doing that the Christian, that from that perspective. So what we did was really practice these things on each other, right? So that's what we end up doing, and we enjoyed it because we used all the tools and activities as much as we came up upon, right?
That's good, man.
On each other to really, to really get to know each other. So by the time we reach before a minister, right, to do counseling, right?
All the good man.
Actually, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Set up already.
Yeah. He said that, right? But I think it challenged him, right? And he went further.
Did more,
right? He dug deeper. We went through this was it enriching counter?
Something so.
Yeah. So we went through this
did an assessment
like over 200 Christians.
Wow.
Right? And from there he was able to get different statistics on the pillars of
connected
of relationships, right? And he saw where we need to improve and all of that. So that was so like I believe like we push him to go further, bring out the big gun, right? So I know like it's not normal, and I believe that God would have equipped us in that area for the kind of ministry that we're gonna be doing, like even with this program, right? And even part of our strategic plan is to reach out to families, right? To ministry to families and to husbands and wives and so on. So God has been preparing us long before for that. He's been preparing us apart. Then he prepared us together. And then we have seen ourselves grow as we do ministry together. So that's this is the context, because I know for many persons like because
we're not saying that if you guys like everybody had to do it like that. But we're just coming from where we come from. Why we did it like that.
But that is how we end up doing it like that.
Right.
Can I heard like, just like how you need to do a proper plan for a business, so you can have a roadmap. The same thing happened with your relationship, and it starts from the point of the relationship. You need to have a plan. I mean, there are different aspects of the plan. The finances is one. All the other areas you can think about, you need to have a plan. So, and the plan now, both persons, like the same thing. Like if you own a business, you have to be able to share your vision with the people that works with you. They have to know where you stand on certain things, and they have to know the plan too. So that's how they would know what to do and what not to do, and how you're being a part of this, because it's a relationship. You understand? So that's just what came to mind as you guys were speaking, having a plan to be able to make sure it works.
And a good thing about having a plan is that you're able to readily recognize when you have met a goal, right, or when you're going off track, right? So you can celebrate the achievements of a goal that was set. You celebrate that, and then when you realize you're going off track, you're able to pull it back because you're working with a plan. Yeah.
Some people might say, that feels like real work, man. I have to go through all of this.
Marriage is work. If
If
you want it to be successful,
that's right.
Yeah, I'll put you know.
What's your definition of a successful marriage? I mean, you say if you want it to be successful.
Yeah, I think a successful marriage is one where both parties are happy.
Amen, bro. Amen.
Right.
Amen.
That's just it.
Because you ask me if I'm happy and I can't say no, then I don't think marriage is wicked.
That is why I say success. And what may bring that success in it might be unique to the different marriages, right? But
so don't go judging your relationship based on
somebody
else. The same thing you were just saying there. Like I can't say, well, boy, I ain't do like all down here. So something may be wrong. I think I done it, but how you did that?
No.
God has equipped you guys
in
a particular way so that when you meet somebody like me, because it's happy boy, this is a way you could do this, And let me just say this: there are many things you guys have said during the time we've been here. I was like, I'm gonna take this one. As much as I've been married longer than you, it doesn't matter. It's not about the length of your marriage. You understand? Some people forget that.
And a lot of persons been telling us that. I mean, persons who married as old as we are. Right?
Bro.
Right? But
no say it.
But that's the reality. And again, it's because both of y'all complement each other in fulfilling your purpose.
The purpose. That's what it is.
Yeah, and even that the view of purpose as a couple must be a conversation that need to happen as well, right? What would we do as a couple, right? What is our purpose as a couple apart from just reproducing and just enjoying each other and so on? What is our purpose, right? What is the mission that God has given this family that come together? Yeah, what is the mission?
Also think
right?
inside out.
So you see, and that's why again it goes right back to when the Bible talks about being equally yoked and so on. Equally yoked is not just when it comes to we start date or we get married, but even before you get married, you have to see how you guys
how you're working together.
Yeah, and that's so important. And the will to work together is another thing. Because you could start working together, you could lose it. But once you make your mind up and two of you are agreeing on something, then trust me, that's where the power is, that's where the strength is. This is what make the relationship strong. You understand? But when one person saying A and the next one always saying B, then there are confusion.
Can't work together unless you agree.
Yep.
And
even we talking about marriage is work and that kind of stuff. But if you start doing the work before, even on yourself, it makes it easier. It makes it easier when you actually get into marriage. But sometimes we have fun. We just enjoying this person and we dating and we liming and sometimes we doing things we're not supposed to do, and all of these things, we just enjoying it, right? And then we get married and realize, we have to do work. So start with the work and then you can have the fun.
Yeah, I like that. You see, that's the thing. Here's the thing, a business plan, when you're done, I'll go back to that. You will see this nice package thing that you could read. But sometimes you have to extract the information from your head and put it there. It's more work than actually reading it after. So putting the ring on the finger, going before the altar, having a good time in front of the people, kissing, having your first dance. Songs like all fun. You understand? Taking all the picture, posing and all them things. You understand? But after all of that fun, what happens after? So if you've been doing a lot of thinking, if you're married and you're having a relationship with more mind and heart, and plenty prayer and plenty submitting to what God was says, and if you can submit to what God was says before you get married, or if one person is submitting, the next one is submitting, then ask yourself the question: how would that marriage be a successful one? Because obviously one submitting, the next one is submitting, like disagreement. So if you ask one if they're happy, one might say, well, yeah, because doing what God word says, but my partner ain't doing so I can have a bit of unhappiness because things ain't working right on that side.
Yeah.
You understand? So when two person are agreeing, we working hand in hand. If you try to pull me so, like if we walking hand in hand and you somebody come on the pool, like, I going too. You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
We going together. You understand? So just want to throw that in there.
And that don't mean don't have fun, because you don't want to do it like a contract and then you get married to the person and you realize I don't attracted to you. Like,
before you do something and say, hold on,
that's a different conversation.
Hold on, let me go and get the book and see the rule book what it says. No, remember we said we're not going to do this or that. You get the point. That's not what
you don't want to
said.
get stiff and
so stiff. Yeah.
But it's like with life, if you're accustomed living with, right, then when you're able to challenge yourself and live more and live more and live more and live more, because you get stronger.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, that you build that kind of strength in your relationship.
Okay.
You know, as you have these conversations and as you work together and fulfilling purpose and making goals and accomplishing it and so on, that you get stronger. So even though it might seem as a lot of work, right, when you hear somebody lift almost 400 pounds, it might sound like, what? That's a lot. But you didn't start with 400 pounds. I might lift it easy, but you may start with 50 pounds.
Boy, go and try to lift it before you can reach there.
Yeah.
You understand?
You might damage yourself.
You will. You're strained. You're damaging yourself.
Yeah. So that's the idea. Yeah,
Take your time and grow.
But when you reach to where you're capable of doing it, it's an easy lift. And people might watch and say, what?
And you notice even when man want to lift things that they never lived before, they always look for assistance. Depends on what it is, just to speak about it. Sometimes you need someone behind you, just to back
spot you.
Just spot you. You get the point? And that's how the thing works. You might be the one spotting her today to accomplish a goal for two of us to be happy, and it might be her tomorrow spotting you. You understand? Serious thing, neighbor.
Yeah, I don't know how far we going. So
one more. Go ahead.
One more.
Yes,
one more. And I think that is where we'll stop the discussion.
Yeah.
But this is an important one. Past relationships,
Oh Lord.
right? What worked, what didn't work, why it didn't work, yeah. And these are questions that need to be asked and answered honestly and truthfully, right? You said you had that kind of conversation, right? When you all was dating, and these are conversations everybody need to have,
right,
with that person you want to say I do to. Yes.
Just say that is
have to have this conversation.
Yeah, very interesting. I always say, I believe the only time I've ever been in love is with my wife. So all these past relationships, to me, that was me being boy. When I decided to man up, and I was at a very young age, 19, I decided, here's what, I want something serious in life. I don't want to be running around trying to find myself. So getting married at a young age wasn't an accidental thing, bro. That was me reaching an age where I realized, here's what, interesting thing, being in the field that I've been in, work-wise, talking to older people, showed me some things. And I thought, if I can get this right all in my life, and keep it right long enough for until they do my all part, then when I reach my mind was like, when I reach 50, there's so much things that I accomplished, God spend my life and I'm in good health, then I'll be focusing on getting this thing right again. I mean, that's me thinking about it, all well and good, God don't take nobody away from me and I'll go as good. You understand? But the point is, I looked at people who turn 40 years now and just trying to fix things. They've been playing boys games all this other time in their lives, and now age 40 and trying to fix things, and they have so much damage, so much history, so much, you understand? So for me, I was like, when I got serious in life is because I was in my 20s. I did my wife for 2 years, and then we decided, or quota for 2 years, because when I met her, I was in guesstimated. I knew I was looking for a wife at that point. You understand? And I just thought, the Bible said so. Who finds a wife and a good thing? No man ain't finding me. I had to be the one finding. And that was my, bro, seriously. I see, and God say that is who it is. But all this other previous thing now, when I say I never was in love, I understand what was happening there. And don't get it twisted. That's why God have his word that says do not do this and don't do that. Because when you go into the relationship now, some of your past activities will affect your present. You understand? And just imagine both of us having a different kind of history. You had drama.
Oh, yeah.
So that conversation, and if you think you need counsel to be able to get the strength and whatnot, you know yourself. That's the thing. Remember I told you guys I had to take some time to find out who just honest before saying let me find a woman that I could share myself with. Some people don't understand themselves and then they go and get married. What you think you do? What you think you're doing? Drama you're creating.
Yep.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and part of these conversations, it would help expose probably hurts and so on that you need to deal with. Because you might think that yes, she loved me or yes, you love me and so on, but you realize that when if these conversations did not happen and so on, when you all reach marriage and you all being more intimate, you get resistance in certain areas and certain things, and you're wondering why. It's something I did, and something is nothing to do with you, right? Is this person who I was with, right? Whenever they made this kind of statement or they did that, it resulted in this, and but or they would have done something to me, and every time I experience that kind of thing, I freeze up or I just get sick or I get so angry and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. Trauma in marriage.
That's and you ain't talking about it.
And that's one side of it. There's one part of it too in terms of getting to know your partner's past, and to your partner could be coming into your marriage with trauma. I mean, I don't just think this is for women, men coming with trauma too. And there's also, we want to know about your past and thing, and we're not just taking your word for it too, we're not just taking your word. If we having this conversation about conversations before we say I do, we also have to acknowledge the ugly truth that is with that it comes with relationships. Sometimes you might meet somebody and they present in a particular way, and you ask about their past relationship, and it's always the other person. It's always the other person that do them something.
That's true.
And then when if you were to listen past what they're saying, what do people say about them? What is their reputation? What is the because sometimes you could be setting yourself up to if you
you're so low,
you could be setting yourself up. You could be setting yourself up for persons who know how to present in a particular way, and then you get married and you realize you're married to an abuser, and all the people that he said did him something, he was actually really did. Right? So even in this conversation, we need to try to pick up some of these things. Even as Christians, just because somebody's a Christian doesn't mean it doesn't have things that they should have dealt with that they didn't deal with.
Sure.
And it may mean talking to that ex. One or two other ex.
Not everybody.
In some instances,
Not everybody can feel
but sometimes
it makes sense.
But sometimes you might need to push yourself
to
face it.
As the mother,
right? So that it would save you a lot in the future. Sometimes you push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to realize that this is probably one of the biggest investment in your life, apart from giving your life to Christ. Right? Is to get married to someone.
Giving your life to somebody else.
So before you make that big investment, right, you might have to get out of your comfort zone. Right, and go to somebody who could give some answers.
If you're gonna buy a car,
you might get cussed.
You're gonna find out it.
All they getting some real pressure there tonight. Some of they ain't want to do that. Because first of all, that was my woman, that was my man. You understand? And they kind of saying they just have, right? And youths especially, even though they're in Christ, they don't really see it the way that we say it sometimes. You understand? It takes a level of maturity to get to that place. And when you were speaking, what came to mind is the importance of courtship and the proper way to court. Not just thinking, I told somebody today, I said, listen, at the end of the day, when you're courting someone, there are things you're not obligated to do. And if somebody is trying to treat you like a wife, when you're still in your single stage, without any commitment, and then you're having having that kind of conversation, the person can see where you're coming from. It's drama. You understand?
The person
So-
say you can't talk to he, you can't talk to
You
he, you can't
understand what I'm
talk to
trying to
he,
tell
you
you?
can't talk to
Right.
he.
And you
And
bypassing
now
that.
and now your friend and them for years.
And you're bypassing that
red
and
flag.
saying, okay, you love me, I just understand. Okay, you work it out. No, don't work it out. According to Kunta, no.
Into the red flags, run.
Yeah. Got things why I reiterate this. What you practice before, right? You just get amplified.
That's right.
Yeah, boy.
That's
The
right.
more and more say you think this person being so possessive now, right? And you think that bad. Now when they have legal right,
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
what you think will happen? You think all of a sudden you
Not
just get
even
free?
your mother could
and
board.
And you see that light, not even your mother.
And
right?
based on your mother understand our relationship, she will respect and tell the partner, well, that's where you make your bed. So you have to go and lie down there. Don't come and involve me in your thing. You understand? Some parents, although you have mothers, another conversation again.
Oh yeah, no,
When the parents now want to act like if they married to the day in the marriage and the things they could do. And when you think, well, you know, when it become disrespect, when husband speak, wife taking or wife, husband taking side, that my son, that my daughter, and all the ganging up. Don't imagine your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law ganging up with you, and you just like, well, what's going on? And they want to say nothing because you know you get, yeah. And then, especially when sometimes you go and stay in the house, oh God, boy, yeah. Listen, for years I was telling God the other day, I thought the other scripture that say, blessed is the man that have his own. No? I just find out that I know scripture in the Bible that say that. But thank God for this thought. For this thought caused me to think about owning something on my own. My mom say, come and stay upstairs and build come and build on top. I say, Mom, blessed is the man that have his own. You read that the Bible says so. Well, yeah, no joke. Over 15 years. I think that in the Bible. But it was a good thought. It's a good thought. I said, I'm going to stay no mother house. You understand? Because I'm married though. And the Bible says, leave your mother and father and you give to your own wife. So let's go find our own place and figure it out together. You know?
But that's part of the living and cleaving in future, and it's an important thing because it helps you to build together. The building together. I think somebody was listening to recently was saying that with marriages and so on, the experiences is what keeps. Right? So the experience of two of y'all building that house together. That experience, that experience draws y'all closer together. And many persons, that is what holds the marriage. When you talk to persons who married for years, is the experiences. Like one guy was telling me, pastor guy, he was telling me that this lady approached him and stuff. He was traveling and so on, and she really come on to him hard and so on, and he was like all he could think about is the experiences, right? Of his first child, he might be any first child, the dates they had, they building the house together and all of that. And he was telling her that, like, you can't compare. It's not just a physical beauty.
So
and he was able to explain that to the lady. It's not about the physical beauty alone, but all these experiences is what keeps that a relationship.
It sets your partner apart
From everybody.
Yeah, good looking guy, you know.
Yeah.
No, you're a good looking guy, and you might have we have so much better look alike in this world. I'm sure you'd have somebody that look close to you. But what differentiates you from somebody?
I still update.
But what differentiates you from another guy that might look like you, build like you?
Right.
Yeah. Is the experiences that I have with you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we started talking about, like, you come in a relationship with a house and you already put all your thoughts, everything that you want in it. You understand? And you come in the relationship with that house. And then you want to invite, well, I am mine too, as you said. Now, if we had to make a decision now, who live in and why, you might not like some things that this one have. But then you could still make some adjustments at that point to make each other comfortable and still say we accomplished something together. But I find the experience of starting from the ground, watching a piece of land together and having faith together and saying, let's, as we see a house there, we go on, we discuss a plan with somebody and we do all of that from the ground, and to see it turn into a reality. Like the color on the wall, everything, the details, how close you put in the kitchen table, whatever it is, how you want this, what color, bro. That to me, that's vibes. That vibes and energy, that man. And you see the nice thing about it, let me just take all the guys back to that, right? So I met my wife, well, my girlfriend at the time. I wanted to own a sports car down there.
Yeah.
I wanted to have blue. I can still see the car today. Nissan R. A Nissan R34.
What?
I tell you, when I watched the price of the machine, it was $100,000 EC at the time. And I didn't care. That was my goal. I work in, I take a picture and I snap down my office. Every day I go to work, I seen that. And they say, well, you see and believe you could achieve. Yeah. Yeah. So I watching that down there. I said, that's it. But when I meet the woman, I said, but wait, I can't sleep in car. If I'm married, I can't wash ways in car. But I just pull on the thing from the wall, wrap it up and throw it in the bin. We start talking. And I realize something good going on there. We got a plan done together. Get the plan to build the house approved. I put her up. I go and take a picture with her. And I tell her, right, Mrs. Sabazon on it. And I put it where every day I come to work, in my vision mode every day. When I come to work, I know house because that's the plan. The plan they build on the picture there on top. You understand? But God have his own way at least how he's gonna work it out. So the point is, I had a plan going into a relationship. She had a plan. We gone in some common thing. We want to own a house together. And amongst all the other things we spoke about within that time. You understand? And it had something to guide you, right?
Yeah,
and man, we build the house. And then we get married first, did we? And then we build the house.
Yeah,
you understand? You understand? So I put it the way I saw it, but God have it his own way. And that's why praying, again, conversation to have when you getting married. Prayer is like a key ingredient. And if you can't pray together and you don't want to do, when all they're going through all the hard time, no, one say pray, one say nah, that kind of everything, they're going with that.
And that's a good point, eh?
Very, very important.
Conversation is good, but prayer is more important.
Yeah. But imagine you're praying and somebody disagreeing with you and you don't know. Because you think you're praying for the person, don't share the same thing in their heart and they quiet. And you think they're saying amen or tell me they're not saying amen in their mind. It's like, you don't know, eh?
Yeah.
You understand? So you know, being able to agree then is so important. Even before you get into relationships and so on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't rush nothing. Take all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
Right.
we cover
we
cover what you wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Right? And man, so much stuff.
Yeah, we could talk for a really long time.
I know this youth energy. There was a lot of talk.
Yeah. That's okay.
But it was rich.
I cool with that. I cool with that for tonight, guys. Yeah. I didn't feel like playing music tonight. I'm cool with that.
All right.
Yeah.
But I praying for that person out there, right? Who they are in that position where they are interacting with someone they intend to get married to, right? But hey, don't be afraid to start these conversations, right? Just start it, and God will lead you as to how to continue, and it will be so beneficial that you will reap the benefits for the years to come. Yeah, so I want to encourage you to be courageous and start the conversation.
Be courageous. I'm pray about it, and if you feel that God is directing you in this, like, hey, this relationship, I know it feels good now, and this person is really nice and all of that, but in the long run, when it comes to the purpose that I have for you, if God is telling you, hey, this is not a person that's going to walk with you in purpose, you have to also be courageous to say,
and
can't
remember,
continue with this.
Even in dropping the relationship, you do it in love.
Oh yeah,
you do it in love. You do it in love. Don't
be like Abraham.
Yeah, don't just throw them in the desert and give them some water. You know, and
tell
try to
him-
mash up the character and all
Well.
kind of thing, you know. But do it in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it may be hard
How you
because
explain that though? How do you do it in love?
we talk about
talk
that
about that
last
last
time.
time.
Just touch it. Just give
Okay.
me a card. Yeah.
So we looked at Abraham versus Joseph,
Mhm.
right? And we spoke about him, you know, protecting
Considering
her,
her, yeah.
right? Protecting her image and thing. Put her. The Bible talk about him. He's trying to put her away quietly,
Right.
you know,
Mary.
and stuff, yeah. And so it was not about making her feel bad or,
Yeah, and you want people
or
to know
destroying her.
how she hurt me.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah.
so on.
Right.
Because it may be right that God may tell you, this person just not going on the same path that you're going.
Right.
Right? It may not be anything that they did.
Mhm.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Mhm.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Mhm.
It's just that
Just
the
not-
spirit
not the will of
witness
God.
that hey, where you going, right? He's not going.
Right.
So y'all just would not make it together. And that just may be it.
That's just it.
Okay.
Yeah, so is having that conversation, praying about it, and deciding to go apart in love.
Yeah, and you also have to prepare your heart to if this doesn't work, that we can end it in a way that we do it in love, and then that's where the principle of the word comes in.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, how we treat with each other in relationship. If we don't cross certain boundaries, we could do it in love, because we could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if we don't cross certain boundaries, you don't feel like you take from me and then you just leave in
You
me.
need to protect yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
so we need to protect each other, and so saving ourselves from marriage and this kind of thing is not just so we could proudly stand up and pound our chest and say we save ourselves, but it's protecting ourselves and each other.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you become that beautiful gift for someone else. You know.
there we go.
When I got married, just real quick, at one point I felt, boy, I ain't good enough for this woman. I mean, I find this gem, and I was all there as a young man, not knowing better, just enjoying my life, so to speak, doing all kind of crazy things. And now, about 3 months into planning to get married, like really serious, I wanted to end the relationship because I didn't feel like I was worthy of getting a woman like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said to her, I don't know if you remember, I said, I need a little time, man. I was like, what do you mean? At this point in a little time, it sounds crazy, but I was me such a myself. So I went and I spoke to her. I tried to talk to an older woman than I was. The issue wasn't with her, the issue was me just looking at my past. When God has already got me away from that past, so that I had to face my new reality in that moment and understand who I was and who I am. And that gave me the strength to move forward.
And that's such an important point, because sometimes we have to remember too that some people are coming with hurt, coming with guilt, and you've changed your life, you've turned your life over, you've asked for forgiveness, you've been forgiven,
Right.
but you have to deal with
Deal with it.
that guilt and the self perception, how you're seeing yourself now. So that's really important to talk about as well, eh? Yeah.
Alright. So where are we?
So where are we to end tonight?
Night session.
All right, so everybody, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Oh yes.
I see some people are still up. Bless your hearts.
Oh yeah.
We have a steady 11 persons there.
Yeah.
One just drop off. Yeah, for a while. And thank you for being interactive in our conversation. Yeah, special shout out to Renee.
All the way in Barbados, the girl
Yeah.
from London, she ain't come back. But
Yeah.
yes, guys, I want to join with Donnie and say thank you.
Oh, yes,
I
thank
really
you, thank
appreciate you listening to Hope FM, and also, every third Friday, the conversation. No taste for next week, guys. Next time, all you saying what you gonna be. That'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys
we don't just like take the topic, so
Yeah.
many times God would just, all the time, God has just shown us what next He have for the audience there, what you want us to discuss. So we're looking forward to that.
I still like dripping. Alrighty. Well, guys, thank you again. Have a blessed night. Drive safe on your way home. I live in just around the corner, so.
All right. So,
Good night,
guys, Youth Energy. We'll see you next Friday.
All right.
Yeah. 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 Foresight, yeah. Many people may not see the picture, they give up on the dream. We call them quitter, try to speed up on God's plan, they want it quicker. But me stand firm, as it's written in the scripture. God's know what's best for you, your life, He favor you. Stand firm, you see the truth, you see it true, you see it true, see the glory. But how much of them know your story? Them see the smile, how much of them see you when you cry? See you when you cry. Look how far me I come from. Father God, how my life preserved, and that's not assumption. That is not an assumption. Look how far me I come from. Father God, how my life preserved, and that's not assumption. That is not an assumption. Look how far me I come from. Them don't know when me start up. Them only know when me there. Them only know about the success, but them don't know about the failure. Them only know all my life before God when me fall on my knees on a regular. And them don't know how me be personally. All they know what me post up on my cellular. Boy, I had hard days. I'm here for thank God for my bad days. I'm here for thank God for the struggle and the hustle make me broke up on myself and my bad ways. So me I'm growing out the grace of the Lord as me getting bigger. I me don't worry about the victory cause Him are the winner. And when we walking through the valley of the shadow, we already had the table in a day with a chicken dinner. Where me I come from? Father God, how my life preserved, and that's not assumption. That is not an assumption. Look how far me I come from. Father God, how my life preserved, and that's not an assumption. That is not an assumption. Look how far me I come from. Come from. I come from. Come from. Come from. Come from. I come from. Come from. I come from. Yeah. Come from. Them see the glory.